right, welcome to the Media Center at the CPKC Women's Open. I'm joined here by defending champion Megan Khang. For all the people on the Zoom too, if you have a question, just let me know in the chat. I'll ask a few here, open it up to the Media Center, and then pop over to you on the Zoom if you have any. Just to open things up, Megan, talk about last year. Bring us back to those memories that you have from last year and what you remember most about your first win.
You know, last year was a roller coaster of emotions going down the kind of the back nine, knowing that, you know, Seong right next to me was, and I just kept going back and forth, and then coming down, you know, 16, seeing Jin Young's name on the leaderboard, and I'm going, of course it's Jin Young. You know, she's such an incredible player, and like, you know, obviously competing right next to Seong, it's a lot. You know, you're in my mind, it's all racing like it's for the first win. Like I had the lead going into the final round. Like hopefully I can pull this off. And obviously, you know, bogeying 17, just kind of had to buckle down even more, and you know, to be able to birdie 18 when I needed to, and then in the playoff regulation to pull it off, it was just kind of a whirlwind of emotion. I think I had some family friends comment on the last putt I made, and they're like, "Yeah, you made it, and you were so calm about it." And I feel like what people don't know is that I thought I nearly missed it, because if you look at the tape, I like literally lipped in, and I was like, I knew I could miss, but you never want to miss to win. But I think that was just all the nerves kind of finally hitting me that this was to get my first tour win, and you know, to get the first one, and it was incredible, and I'm still hungry for the next.
Yeah, and talk about getting your first win here, becoming a Rolex first-time winner here. How special was that, and how will this place always hold a special place in your career?
You know, I've always loved Canada. Canada has, for me, I've always said is like our one unofficial major. You know, the crowds here are always great. We play stellar golf courses, and you know, when we come play the CPKC Championship, we're always treated like royalty here, and so. You know, and that goes out to the volunteers, the staff, the golf courses, everyone involved in making this tournament possible. Mm-hmm. So not only that, and kind of what they also do with the CP Has Heart. And so for that, it's just all the aspects of this tournament, you know, it'll always have a special place in my heart.
And speaking of that, this year there'll be the Audi Precision Award given out, $25,000 to the leader of greens and regulation with the most greens in regulation this week. In addition, a matching donation to female golf participation through the First Tee of Alberta. But just talk about what that means too as well, that initiative this week, and how cool that is to see in addition to other initiatives at this event.
No, it's definitely cool. I mean, you know, you just constantly see like the women's game growing, and with the Audi Precision Award, you know, they don't have to do that, but the fact that they are providing that extra, you know, challenge for the girls, and not only that, but matching the award money to another charity, it speaks volume to like how companies are getting involved, and how, you know, golf not only is obviously our career, but like also benefits, you know, the communities around it. And so that itself, it just shows that golf is just not just a sport, but it's for a much bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll open it up in the media center here if anyone has any questions. Adam in the front.
Megan, how would you describe your season so far? I mean, you've obviously had some really, really good results, and you know, you come in after a couple missed cuts. How would you kind of assess things to this point?
You know, in all honesty, it feels like I haven't necessarily had the best year, and I'm trying to change that kind of mentality, because you know, I kind of did a little reflection after missing the cut at Evian and KPMG the past couple weeks I've played. And, you know, I told my caddy, I was like, you know, all in all, like, I've had a relatively good year so far. I nearly won 2 events this year, but for me, it is kind of like a sour taste having, you know, my majors being necessarily a poor result so far this year compared to last year. But right now, you know, I'm trying to change that into like a more positive, like, you know what, at the end of the day, golf happens, you know, you're not going to have your best game all the time, but just kind of trying to focus on what is going well for me, what I have been needing to work on. And, you know, I feel like my game is right there. You know, golf is a game of inches, and some putts have been missing by millimeters, I'll say. And that's kind of the difference out there. But I'm just trying to stay positive, because I do know that it hurts a little more missing cuts at majors, but at the end of the day, you know, I feel very comfortable where my game is at right now.
Have you played any holes yet or not yet?
I've played holes 1 through 10 yesterday, kind of.
What do you
My
think?
caddy's not here yet, so another Allison Lee's caddy, Shota, was nice enough to let me put some clubs in Allison's bag, and I roughly played the first 10 holes, and so just kind of playing or hitting tee shots off the holes. You really are going to have to hit the fairway out here. You know, fairways are a premium, as they are every week, but this week especially, I think that you're going to have some certain placements out there on the golf course just because there are going to be holes where driver's not going to be the best club in hand, and you may have to kind of risk it in a sense of going for the more narrow part of the fairway instead of laying back to maybe a further club in, even though there's a chance that you might be blocked out by a tree if you do go for a shot.
When you talk about almost winning 2 events and you know looking at that as a relatively good season, I'm curious, did what happened at Shaughnessy last year change your expectations of what a good season could be or should be for you?
I mean, I think, you know, before that, I feel like I've kind of been trending in the right direction up until that first win. For me, it was kind of trying to miss as little cuts as possible before obviously knowing that I can get the win now. It gives me the confidence, not necessarily an expectation, but, you know, knowing that I can do it, knowing how I did it in that fashion. I know that I have the ability to dig deep and stuff like that. But for the most part, I would love to say I could get a win every season, and obviously that's the goal, but, you know, there's so many great girls out here that it's definitely hard. And so I think that, you know, just trying to play consistent golf and giving myself the opportunities will always be like a good year. And so, again, like missing the cuts at major are always sour, but at the end of the day, it just kind of gives me more motivation to kind of perform well the next week, whether it is a major or not. And for me, this is kind of like my 6th major in my own head.
Do you have any Canadian good luck charms you'll carry on this year?
I mean, I always use the same ball marker, and that's just kind of like because it's a comfort for me, but not necessarily. I'm more superstitious of like for some reason I only like to use odd number golf balls when it's tournament rounds. So like I'll use numbers 1 and 3 for tournament days, but for practice rounds it's always the evens and 2 and 4. I don't know why, but I guess I'm a little odd, to say the least.
Any other questions here in the media center? I have 2 more for you sent in from Kent Paisley, just to ask, what did it mean for you to you kind of just touched on it a little bit, but what did it mean for you to get that first victory last year and get it kind of off your back and prove to yourself that you could do it?
You know, I always had that self-belief that, like, it wasn't necessarily, like, if I was going to win out here, it was kind of like a when, and throughout the entire year, it was great to see, you know, friends getting their first wins. You had Lilia, Allison Corpuz, and just kind of, you know, those are the girls I kind of grew up playing junior golf with. And, you know, I'd like to think that we're all pretty competitive. We all are able to win out here, but at the same time, it is very difficult to win. But to be able to get that first win after seeing, like, you know, my friends that I grew up playing junior golf with win, it was, like, even more motivation for me to try and get my first one. And I was very fortunate to get my first win last year, and you know, you see what Lilia's doing. She came back from a back injury earlier this year and right out the gate won at the Meyer. And so it's pretty cool that, you know, you have friends out here with like Nelly as well as going on like a 5 or 6 win streak. It's just nice to have other friends around you motivating you to kind of do better for yourself as well. And so it did help that I did win, and so it's like I know I can do it, and I see my friends doing it, and it's just making me more hungry.
Yeah. And his second question was, there's been a lot of people itching for their first win so far this year. Who do you think will be the next first-time winner out here?
I truly hope it'll be Allison Lee. You know, we're very good friends, and I know last year she came so close out of like the last 2 or 3 events out of the year, at the end of the year, and you know, I'm always in her corner. I wish and hope that she's the next first-time winner. And, you know, I'll be right there. Hopefully, I'll be at the event. I'll be right there with her celebrating that first one.
Awesome. Any more here? All right. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.